Grolar bear or Pizzly bear. We'll start with one of the few hybrids that occurs naturally in the wild, the Grolar bear, also called a Pizzly bear. This is a cross between a grizzly bear and a polar bear, and it's becoming more common due to climate change. As Arctic ice melts, polar bears are moving south into grizzly territory, leading to interbreeding. Grolar bears inherit traits from both parents. They have the brown fur of grizzlies mixed with the white coat of polar bears, creating a cream or light brown color. They're strong swimmers like polar bears, but can survive on land like grizzlies. What makes them truly remarkable is that they're fertile. They can reproduce and create a new generation. Scientists view Grolar bears as a sign of how species are adapting to our changing climate. Today, there are only a handful confirmed in the wild, mostly spotted in Canada and Alaska. Coywolf. Another naturally occurring hybrid is the Coywolf, a cross between a coyote and a wolf. For years, scientists denied these animals existed, but they were confirmed just recently. Coywolves have been spotted across North America, particularly in the northeastern United States and Canada. These hybrids combine the adaptability and intelligence of coyotes with the pack behavior and strength of wolves. They are larger than coyotes but smaller than wolves, and they've proven remarkably successful at surviving near human populations. Unlike many hybrids, coywolves are fertile and may be evolving into a distinct species of their own. Mule. Now let's look at hybrids. Humans have been creating for thousands of years. The mule is born from a female horse and a male donkey. This cross is extremely rare in the wild because horses and donkeys have very different social behaviors and don't naturally recognize each other as potential mates. That's why mules are almost exclusively bred on farms. Mules inherit the best of both parents. From their horse mother, they get height, speed, and a smoother coat. From their donkey father, they inherit long ears, incredible strength, and legendary endurance. What surprises most people is that mules are actually more intelligent and easier to train than either parent. Because mules are so useful for work, strong, smart, and reliable, they're bred in large numbers worldwide. Today, the global mule population is in the millions, with major populations in China, Ethiopia, Mexico, Tanzania, and the United States. While most mules are sterile, some female mules can occasionally carry pregnancies, though this is extremely rare. Beefalo. The beefalo is a hybrid created intentionally by ranchers, combining American bison and domestic cattle. The goal was to produce an animal that's tougher and more resilient, able to withstand extreme weather and resist disease better than regular cattle. This crossbreeding has sparked controversy. Critics argue it's an unnatural manipulation of wildlife. However, beefalo offer clear practical benefits. Their meat is leaner and healthier than regular beef, and they can survive in harsh environments with minimal food and care. What makes beefalo unique among hybrids is that they're actually fertile. Because bison and cattle have the same chromosome count, beefalo can reproduce without the sterility issues that plague most hybrid animals. Today, there are an estimated 40,000 to 50,000 beefalo worldwide, mainly in the United States and Canada, particularly on ranches focused on high-quality beef production. These hardy animals can thrive in deserts, grasslands, snowy regions, and even mountainous terrain. Zorse. A zorse is created by crossing a zebra with a horse. The result is a striking blend of both animals. It usually has zebra-like stripes on part or all of its body, a slimmer horse-like build, and stronger endurance combined with wilder instincts compared to a domestic horse. Because horses and zebras have different chromosome counts, Zorses are almost always sterile. On average, a Zorse can live around 20 to 30 years. Today, Zorses can be found mainly in Africa and parts of the Americas, especially in captivity or conservation centers. There are estimated to be over 1,000 Zorses worldwide. Many experts argue that breeding Zorses offers little conservation value, as they're often produced for entertainment purposes rather than wildlife preservation. A similar hybrid, the Zonkey, a cross between a zebra and a donkey, also exists and shares many of these same characteristics. Liger and Tigon. The Liger is a hybrid created from a male lion and a female tiger. This crossbreeding doesn't happen in the wild. It only occurs through human intervention in captivity or zoos. From its parents, the Liger inherits an enormous body size, often growing even larger than both pure lions and tigers. It has the muscular build of a lion combined with faint tiger-like stripes across its golden coat. Because of genetic incompatibilities, male Ligers are almost always sterile. There are approximately 52 zoos around the world that keep Ligers, with a global population of around 120 individuals. Interestingly, there's also a reverse hybrid called the Tigon, created from a male tiger and a female lion. Tigons are smaller than Ligers and have different physical characteristics, showing how the sex of the parents dramatically affects the offspring in big cat hybrids. Savannah Cat. The Savannah cat is a hybrid between a serval, a wild African cat, and a domestic cat. This combination creates a truly unique pet that blends wild and domestic traits in fascinating ways. From the serval parent, it inherits sharp hunting instincts, lightning-fast reflexes, and incredible jumping ability. They can leap up to 8 feet high. From the domestic cat, it gets a more social personality, easier interaction with humans, and a tendency to be affectionate. Savannah cats are categorized into generations labeled F1 through F7, based on how closely their genes resemble the serval parent. F1. Savannah cats, which are 50% serval, can sell for extremely high prices, sometimes over $20,000 in some countries. These cats are especially popular in the United States, where they're kept as premium exotic pets because of their striking appearance, playful nature, and dog-like loyalty. Unlike many hybrids, Savannah cats are fertile and can reproduce. Wholphin. The Wholphin is one of the rarest hybrids in existence, a cross between a false killer whale and a bottlenose dolphin. Here's an interesting fact. False killer whales are actually a species of dolphin, not whales, so this is technically a dolphin-dolphin hybrid. While fascinating, Wholphins face serious challenges. Genetic differences between the two species often cause fertility issues and, in some cases, underdeveloped organs. For this reason, Wholphins rarely occur in the wild, and natural births are extremely uncommon. Today, there are fewer than 10 Wholphins in the world. The most famous resides in captivity at Sea Life Park in Hawaii. With proper care, a Wholphin can live between 20 and 30 years. These 8 animals show us that the line between species isn't always fixed. Some hybrids serve practical purposes, some occur naturally as environments change, and others exist purely because humans wondered, what if? Whether you find them fascinating or unsettling, hybrid animals challenge our understanding of nature and raise important questions about conservation, ethics, and humanity's role in shaping the animal kingdom. What do you think? The wolf dog, half wolf, half dog, all identity crisis. Imagine being born with the instincts of a predator and the emotional need for belly rubs. That's the wolf dog. Not quite wild, not quite a pet, just permanently confused about its life choices. Wolf dogs have existed for centuries, sometimes by accident, sometimes by human obsession with owning something dangerous. Native American tribes lived alongside them, working animals as much as companions. European nobility bred them as status symbols, because nothing says power like a pet that might eat your guests. But the wolf dog isn't just a conversation starter. It exists on a spectrum. Low-content wolf dogs, mostly dogs, can be as calm as a husky. High-content ones carry genuine wolf instincts, unpredictable, territorial, and resistant to any domestication you had planned. Animal shelters are full of them, abandoned by owners who wanted a wolf and got a wolf. Surprise. The wolf dog became a symbol of humanity's oldest mistake, trying to tame what was never meant to be tamed. And yet, we keep trying, because some combinations are irresistible, even when they're complicated. The Tigon. What happens when a tiger meets a lion and nature forgets to say no? The Tigon is the offspring of a male tiger and a female lion, and it looks exactly as chaotic as that sounds. Striped like a tiger, manned like a lion, confused like both. Here's where most people get it wrong. The Tigon isn't small. It grows to roughly the size of its lioness mother, completely normal, perfectly proportioned. It only looks modest when standing next to its famous cousin, the Liger, which suffers from genetic gigantism and grows into something that shouldn't exist outside a fever dream. The Tigon didn't shrink. The Liger just got out of hand. Tigons carry the territorial aggression of tigers and the social dominance of lions in one compact, deeply inconvenient package. They exist almost exclusively in captivity, born from zoos that either made a mistake or a spectacle. Either way, the Tigon became proof that nature has boundaries, and humans have a long history of ignoring them. The Pizzly Bear. The bear that climate change accidentally invented. A grizzly bear wanders north. A polar bear wanders south. They meet in the melting middle and apparently hit it off. The result has two names, and which one you use depends on who showed up in whose neighborhood first. A polar bear father and grizzly mother gives you a Pizzly. A grizzly father and polar mother gives you a Grolar. The 2006 Canadian bear, the one that made headlines, was technically a Grolar, but Pizzly stuck in the papers because it sounded better and nobody asked the bear. Creamy white fur, grizzly-shaped body, brown patches around the eyes like nature's own sleep mask. Physically, it sits awkwardly between two worlds. Too heavy for ice hunting, not quite built for the forest. It's the biological equivalent of being overdressed for every occasion. But this isn't a mistake. It's an adaptation in real time, a creature reshaping itself as its world literally melts around it. And if that doesn't make you feel something, nothing will. The Jaglion. When a jaguar and a lion produce offspring, you get the Jaglion, the rarest of all big cat hybrids. Not a one-time miracle exactly. There are scattered records from 19th century menageries, poorly documented, easy to miss. But the only well-documented modern birth happened once. One zoo, Canada, 2006. The mother was a lion named Lola. The father, a jaguar named Diablo, which honestly sounds like the opening line of a nature documentary no one asked for. The Jaglion cubs, named Jazara and Tsunami, carried spotted coats like their father, but the athletic build of their mother. Two apex predators distilled into one. In the wild, jaguars and lions live on different continents entirely, so this combination exists only because humans put them in the same space. The Jaglion isn't a natural story, it's a human one. A reminder that exotic animal breeding for entertainment created living creatures that belong to no world at all. The Leopon. Half leopard, half lion, all elegance. The Leopon has the body of a lion and the spotted coat of a leopard, like a big cat that couldn't choose a wardrobe and simply refused to. The serious breeding experiments began in Japan, at Koshin Hanshin Park in 1959, where scientists apparently decided the world needed a spotted lion and pushed forward regardless. The result was stunning. Leopons were larger than leopards, stronger than expected, with rosette spots scattered across a tawny lion base. They could climb trees like leopards, a skill most lions consider beneath them. In some accounts, Leopons showed the stealth of a leopard and the sociability of a lion, two competing personalities in one spotted body, like being an introvert who craves attention. But Leopons couldn't reproduce. A beautiful dead end, created by human curiosity, gone when the curiosity faded. The Leopon is the most elegant reminder that just because you can combine two things doesn't mean the result gets a future. The Caracat. A caracal and a domestic cat walk into a genetics experiment. The Caracat is their result. Part wild, part household, and entirely too much for most apartments. The caracal is the wild partner here, a medium-sized African wildcat known for its dramatic tufted ears and its ability to leap 6 feet vertically to snatch birds from the air. Its domestic partner brings the purring, but nature built in 2 obstacles, not 1. The size difference alone is significant. A caracal outweighs a domestic cat by 3 to 1. And then there's the timing. Caracals gestate for up to 75 days. Domestic cats are done in 63. That week and a half of biological disagreement means premature births, complications, and an animal that exists only when everything goes right and human intervention fills the gaps where nature said, stop. The few Caracats that survive display the tufted ears of their wild parent, the curious temperament of their domestic one, and a general energy level that would exhaust most owners within a week. The Caracat is our obsession with owning something wild, softened just enough to sit on a sofa. It never fully works. It never fully stops being beautiful. The Dio. In the highlands of Tibet and Mongolia, where the air is thin and the winters are merciless, there exists an animal so practical it became indispensable. The Dzo is a cross between a domestic yak and domestic cattle, and unlike most hybrids on this list, it was created entirely on purpose. The Dzo is bigger than a cow, stronger than a yak, and more productive than both. More milk, more meat, more endurance at altitude. But nature still collected its tax. Male Dzos are completely sterile, useful as mountain laborers, irreplaceable on brutal terrain, but genetically a dead end. Only the females, called Dzomos, can reproduce, bred back to yaks or cattle to keep the line going. So the Dzo exists in 2 halves. The males work the land, the females carry the future. In a list full of biological accidents, the Dzo is the one hybrid built with intention. And even then, nature made sure to keep one hand on the rulebook. The Zonkey, a zebra, and a donkey, because apparently the animal kingdom needed more stripes and more stubbornness in one package. The Zonkey, also called a zedonk or a zebroid, carries the stocky body of a donkey with random zebra stripes scattered across its legs and face, like nature spilled a pattern and didn't clean it up properly. Zonkeys are sterile, as most equine hybrids are, and they tend to inherit the zebra's wild temperament alongside the donkey's refusal to cooperate. A combination that makes them spectacularly difficult to train and absolutely wonderful to look at. They've been bred in zoos and occasionally appeared in the wild near areas where zebras and donkeys share grazing land. No mythology surrounds them, no grand symbolism, no ancient legend. The Zonkey exists simply because 2 animals were in the same field and nature said why not. And somehow, that's the most honest origin story on this entire list. See you in the next video. The Liger, the biggest cat that has ever lived. Not wild, not accidental, Almost every liger ever born exists because a human deliberately put a male lion and a female tiger in the same enclosure. Nature didn't do this. We did. And the result grew large enough to make you wonder why we did.